Good, I almost did it again. And welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel and Coffee Stream episode 512. And it is a Canadian Wednesday. And I am by myself tonight. Functional is with us in spirit. Real life stuff was in the way, so he's unable to join us. But we will carry on without him, and we will do some Canadian Wednesday stuff. So I hope everyone is having a good Wednesday. Sorry, my throat is still a little rough. I'm feeling better, but I'm still trying to get this cough gone. But yeah, I hope everyone had a good day and is ready for a good stream. So to start things off, the CRTC, and I'm going to actually find an article on this if I can, because I just saw a tweet from Justin Trudeau just before I went live that says that the CRTC, the Canadian version of the FCC, has banned Russia Today. Now, I understand why they did it. And I'm kind of like, as someone who's a free speech, advocate, part of me goes, I don't like banning media outlets, because if you ban one, then it sets a precedent to ban other ones. But then the other part of me goes, would we have allowed German state, like Nazi propaganda channels into our country in the Second World War? Would that have been okay? And I would like to think that no, that would not have been okay. So it's a very interesting place to be in. As I said, I'm not sure how I feel about banning Russia Today. Here's a CBC article. Let's see. I want to make sure that I have an article that I can read. Yeah, okay. So yeah, I just wanted to grab an article because I was scrolling Twitter while the countdown, like the go live countdown, was counting to 0. So I'm just trying to grab this article really quickly on the fly. And then we have some other things to read as well. So we've got lots to talk about. There we go. All right. That is sent to myself, so I can close Twitter and Safari, back into the YouTube app. All right, let's get this started here. So, on the topics for this evening, while I'm pulling everything up, we have a couple of space stories. We have a story about a woman who is a Ukrainian tourist who is stuck in Canada but also not allowed to work. We have a story about mask mandates being lifted, and yeah, we've got lots to talk about. Let's see here. Okay, so let's open this up and get it shared. All right, and we need to go. You know what, guys? before we carry on, I am going to quickly get some water because I can feel in my throat the fact that if I do not go and get some water, that things will be difficult, speaking wise. So I'm going to very quickly run and get some water. Please hold. I shall return momentarily. Okay. Yeah. Water was definitely necessary. Okay. Sorry about that. Let's get back to it. See, you can hear it's already better. It's already better. Okay. So, as you can see, let me get to the headline here. This is a CBC article, and I do hate using them, but they are accessible. So, yeah. Okay. Oh, of course I feel a sneeze coming along because I'm fucking on the microphone. Okay, let's hope it goes away. CRTC bans Russian state-controlled TV channels RT and RT France from Canadian airwaves. So, broadcasters Rogers, Bell, and Shaw removed RT from their networks in February. So, before the ban, Rogers, Bell, and Shaw already took RT off of their channels or their service. Canada's telecommunications regulator has removed the state-controlled Russian television network RT from Canadian airwaves. The Canadian the Canadian Radio, Television and Telecommunications Commission, CRTC, announced Wednesday it was removing RT and RT France from so it's removing RT and RT France from the list of non-Canadian programming services and stations authorized for distribution in Canada. So, hello, Ghost Dog. So basically, they're saying, because we do have a certain amount of non-Canadian programming that we allow, obviously, into Canada, and so they've said that RT is no longer allowed among that programming. And as I said before, I'm not sure how I feel about this because, like I said, we've got, on one hand, I don't like the precedent it sets, but on the other hand, I totally understand it, and my example before still stands. Like, would we have allowed Nazi state propaganda to be broadcast here? I don't think so. I don't think that. So I get it. The decision means broadcasters in Canada are no longer legally permitted to carry the channel. The decision means, why is it repeating itself? The multilingual 24-hour news channel launched in 2005 when it was known as Russia Today and now appears in more than 100 countries, according to its website. Funded by the Russian government, the channel has long been described by critics as a propaganda outlet for the Kremlin. Apologies, I require more water. Okay. So, RT's programming is not consistent with the standards against Canadian services are measured. Let's see. Are measured, nor the policy objectives set out in the Broadcasting Act, the CRTC said in its decision. The CRTC is also concerned with programming from a foreign country that seeks to undermine sovereignty of another country. That's understandable. Very understandable. In demean Canadians of a particular ethnic background and undermine institutions within Canada. I, again, completely get it. Like, it's a very weird feeling to not quite like something, but completely understand why it's been done. And also kind of agree with, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't like it, but I also kind of agree with it. But I also don't. Ugh. I hate this. The decision is not a surprise. On March 3rd, the CRTC published a preliminary view that suggested it was inclined to ban the channel. The Commission is of the preliminary view that RT's programming may not be consistent with the Commission's broadcasting provisions in particular. Yeah, so that was on March 3rd. So yeah, that's basically what happened with Russia Today. And yeah. I and that I totally get that viewpoint too. Like I totally like the free speech thing. I like that keeps pulling at me because if you set this precedent of banning a foreign programming channel, then you have set the precedent that any channel is bannable from the airwaves. And that's not a good precedent. That you know what I mean? Like I can see all angles of this argument. It's a tough one. So here's our next story. We're going to look at a story about the U.S.'s daylight savings bill. Let's get this shared out. Oh my goodness. I am going to go like right to bed after this stream. I am. Both Pincalo and I are tired. Pincalo is tired because, well, his wheel bearing, if you've seen his Twitter or TikTok, you will know that the wheel bearing has been giving him unusually large quantities of bullshit. Especially considering that he can usually change a wheel bearing in like 2 hours tops. um, so he's tired because of that, and I'm tired because I did a ridiculous workout too. Like, yeah, my workouts were ridiculous today. So after this stream, I think I'm gonna go pass out. That's another precedent setting thing. Ghost Dog, that banning this channel could also set the precedent of banning other foreign programming channels that just disagree with Trudeau, instead of, you know what I mean? Like, I that's what I do totally get the all the sides of this argument, and it's a not a fun position to be in. How the US could push Canadian provinces to adopt permanent daylight time. How can one country push another country to Anyway, okay. This is from CTV News. I want the article, not the video. Stop being a dick. Really? It's a video? Are you serious? It's a video. Yeah, it's a freaking video, I think. That's annoying. Yeah, I think the tricky bastards gave me a video. Or they put me all the way at the bottom. They did put me all the way at the bottom. Those motherfuckers. Those bastards. Okay. Um, screw it. How long is this? So, okay. Toronto, the end of the twice annual changing of the clocks could be on the horizon. Apologies. I'm okay with that, as the US Senate passed a bill on Tuesday to make daylight time permanent. If the bill becomes law, the that could set off a chain reaction north of the border, as two Canadian provinces have already passed legislation to permanently adopt permanent daylight time. So if the US states do it, it could be much of the same. BC passed a bill to make daylight time permanent in 2019 after 93% of residents voiced their support for such a proposal in a government survey. But the move to permanent time is contingent on the move to permanent daylight time is contingent on Yukon and the states of Washington, Oregon, and California doing the same. Ah, that would make sense because of the time zone they're in. That because of their time zones, that would make sense. So that's just a little blurb. Hello, Elwin. Hello, Costin. All right. Well, we're going to save the space things for at the end. All right. Here is our next story. It's a National Post article, and it's an opinion piece by Matt Gurney, which I've read Matt Gurney's stuff before. Okay. Yeah, I'm very glad I went and got that water. Okay. All right, here we go. Let me get to the. I need the headline. Oh, why did you put me at the footer, you bastard? Watch as blind press struggles with a website. Okay. Matt Gurney. Trudeau has perfected the art of not answering questions, and our allies have noticed. Oh, good. Oh, good. More things for them to laugh at us about. Awesome. This prime minister and his government has pushed the concept of message discipline beyond anything we've previously seen. That's funny. So this is posted today, March 16th. So again, National Post article. Sometimes it takes an outsider to point out something that should have been obvious, a fresh perspective to knock you out of your complacency. And so it was that we recently had some outsiders point out one of our national failings to us. And if you're a viewer of the coffee stream and a Canadian, you've already known this because I scream about him not answering questions or anybody in his party not answering questions frequently when covering videos of question period. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Owen. I'm actually going to get it darkened up tomorrow. It was supposed to be like a Merlot shade, like a darker red. Um, but it came out like this, and in pictures, like it's too bright. Like I am too pale, so I'm going to go back tomorrow and get it darkened up to like a black cherry shade. So yeah, it'll be awesome. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky addressed Canadian Parliament, and there's his picture. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, on a recent visit to Europe to reassure allies of Canada's enduring commitment, such as it was, or such as it is, I should say, to Western security, he met with the Queen, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, Dutch Prime Minister. How do you pronounce that? Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte, and NATO Secretary General Stoltenberg. So he was bouncing around Europe. He even got a "fuck Trudeau" chant thrown at him when he was in the UK. The various leaders took questions from the press, and many of my Canadian colleagues noted ever so tactfully that many of their colleagues were baffled by Trudeau's lack of answering questions. Oh, they noticed that, huh? It's not that the prime minister isn't available to the press. He is, especially during the pandemic. Trudeau made frequent appearances before his assembled reporters, and he also makes himself frequently available in the House of Commons for question period in the House of Commons. So what's the problem? Well, the problem is he's a narcissist who likes to hear the sound of his own voice, but doesn't actually like to answer questions. Excuse me while I pick up my phone, which I knocked on the floor. Okay. No, I'm not drinking coffee. I'm just using a coffee mug for water. Hey, Gunny. They just noticed now? Damn, they're slow. Thank you for catching up with the rest of us. Exactly, Ghost Dog. Exactly. Okay. Let's see. Well, you may have noted an extremely careful choice of words above. He replies to questions, he doesn't answer them. This isn't an accident. It's not like he doesn't understand the question and doesn't know the answer. It's that this prime minister and his government more generally has pushed the concept of message discipline beyond the point of anything we've previously seen. That's true. It that is very true. Because no matter what the question is, it's like a broken record that or not even a broken record. It's like they have specific things that it was like they all went to a retreat when the caucus meets. It's like when the caucus meets every time it rejoins, right? They go on this retreat. Maybe this is why parliament takes so long to get back. Trudeau takes them all on this retreat, and they're all hypnotized, including Trudeau, with the party message, right? And no matter what question that's asked of them, they're just, we have had Canadians' backs. We have stepped up. We have done more vaccinating per capita than any other country. We are fighting inflation. We are bringing down the housing crisis. We have brought back more jobs after the pandemic. Just no, just robot, robot. She's not drinking coffee. She's drinking maple infused rum. I'm not sure whether I'd like that or not, but I also kind of want to try that. I'm sure there's maple rum somewhere. But I'm also sure that if somebody were to get drunk as fuck off of maple rum, that the hangover from that would be horrific because of the sugar. It doesn't matter what the question is. It doesn't matter how direct it is or how worthy of the importance of the matter at hand. It doesn't matter how desperately the Canadian people deserve an answer. The Prime Minister is going to say what he's chosen to say. The reporter's question is just a prop. Yep. There is no point about being frustrated anymore. The general public doesn't particularly care about the plight of the media, and the inability of the media to get a question answered ranks understandably low on the Canadian public's uh, on the average Canadian's list of concerns. Still, it's worth bringing up all the same. It should rank a lot higher than it does. The fact that our leader and his government does not want to answer any questions should rank a lot higher. And it's not just not answering questions with the media. It's not answering questions from the opposition in parliament as well. And that's a huge problem. And it really should rank a lot higher on Canadians' radar. It's bad for our democracy. It's bad for transparency. It goes against the original pledges by Trudeau and his party to lead a more open and transparent government. Promises that were made because he declared that the last guy was bad at transparency and openness. We don't have to be naive and expect anything to change, as I said. This is all being done very deliberately, but still, if only for the sake of but still, if only for the sake of decorum, every now and then he should mention the fact that the prime minister of this country, almost as a matter of reflexive routine, will almost refuse to answer questions put to him by the media. Again, it's not just the media, it's opposition in the House of Commons, it's committee hearings, it's everywhere. And you're kind of being disingenuous by saying that it's just the media that he's doing this with. I really don't like that. It's not just the prime minister. This bad habit is infecting much of cabinet as well. There are a few honorable exceptions granted. I would like you I still want you to mention that this is not just a media problem. One of the strangest interview experiences I've ever had was chatting on the record with a now defeated Trudeau cabinet minister during the government's first, sorry, during the government's first term, asking a series of pretty benign warm up questions and getting nothing but carefully scripted questions and a grin. It was the grin I remember. That's just creepy. That's that's just disturbing. Like that everybody knows that they're not answering questions and they're like, I'm not answering your question. What are you going to do about it, bitch? Like that's all the way back in term 1. Back when they were first elected in 2015, this shit was happening. And again, like I'm really not happy that this guy and Matt Gurney is a little bit of a dishonest reporter. That's why I tend not to read too much of his stuff. But I just I don't know. At least you have a leader that can use their brain, unlike the US. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I guess. I mean, yay. All right, so let's see. Getting to StreamYard. So yeah, it's like I said, it's not just the media that the Trudeau government does this to. It is everyone. And it's disgusting. So let's see here. This is another CBC article. So, oh, that's not the headline. Oops. So, so this lady here, Svetlana, what's her name? Svetlana Trofinchuk, came to visit friends in Toronto, but can't return safely to her home in Kiev. So, this was posted March 16th, today. So, Svetlana Trofinchuk is a tourist from Kiev, Ukraine, who arrived in Canada before the war began. Okay. A few dresses and an extra pair of boots are among the few items Svetlana Trofinchuk packed in a suitcase for her month-long trip from Kiev to Toronto. The 49-year-old Ukrainian businesswoman used to study English in Canada and was planning to visit some of the friends she had made. But Trofinchuk had no idea when she left on February 16th that her city would come under attack and she would be unable to return safely. Yeah, that's terrifying. Like, if I had gone to visit somebody for a month and then war had brought, like, that would be terrifying. I don't want to be a refugee because I hope my country will be free, said Trefinchuk. But I can't go back to my home. Yeah, I totally get that. That's a horrible limbo to be in. And because she's only here, I know where this is going. I know exactly where this is going. Um, because she came for a month, which means she didn't need to apply for any type of work visa, because she was only here for a month. So she just had a visitor's, like a visitor's thing, and you can't work under that. So yeah, that's not a good place to be in. I can see exactly where this is going. As the invasion of Ukraine intensifies, Trefinchuk is now in a challenging situation. She can't return to Kiev and continue to run her small business, and she can't work in Canada because she's on a visitor visa. Yep, there you go. And immigration lawyers say they've been fielding calls and messages from both Ukrainians still inside the countries and those who are still uncertain of what to do. Earlier this month, the government, sorry, earlier this month, the federal government unveiled a series of programs to help people fleeing the violence, but many specifics haven't been released. I'm shocked. Specifics not being released by the Trudeau government? No. Say it ain't so. Trefinchuk booked an Airbnb in Toronto until March 27th, the day she was set to fly back. After that, she's not sure what to do. I don't have more money because my business is still in Kiev, said Trefinchuk, who ran a women's social club in Kiev. I don't, I want to work here, but I can't. It's not possible to earn money. And now I need to understand how I will live. That's freaking terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. I, like, seriously, that's, my heart goes out to her because she's stuck in a foreign country where, oh, that's at least good that the US passed a bill that could allow visiting Ukrainians to apply for a work visa. That's good. I like that, Gunny. That's good. Um, but yeah, like being stuck in a foreign country and, because you're visiting, you have the correct documents for that, but like, and you're trying to stay, above board, so you don't have a correct documents to work here because that wasn't your intention. Like, that's sucky. That's really terrifying. Trefinchuk has been in touch with various groups in Toronto who are helping her understand how to apply for a work permit. Good. She's also worried about her elderly parents who live in a village in western Ukraine. Not only does she fear for their safety, but she doesn't know how she can continue to support them financially. Yeah, that's hard. Last month, the federal government said it would prioritize permanent residency applications already in place for those who want to come to Canada permanently. For those wanting to come on a temporary basis, the immigration minister announced an emergency travel authorization, um, which would eliminate many of the normal visa requirements for those entering the country. The new visa category, oh, fuck off, CBC. So yeah, it's so this new visa category is going to allow. I think it's going to do something similar to the bill you mentioned, Gun Fox. Um, but yeah, that this poor woman, that's horrible, absolutely horrible. I feel so badly for her. So this is this is from my area, and on Monday, the mask mandate is being lifted in my province. They've already gotten rid of the vaccine certificate requirement. That was March 1st. The school board in my area wrote a letter to the chief medical officer of our province, basically asking for a 2-week extension for the mask mandate. Um, they've posted about it on their Facebook page, and parents were so pissed. Like, even I commented, I was like, my children will not be attending with a mask on Monday. Um, the mask mandate is lifted provincially. Therefore, you know, there's no reason for my kids to go with a mask. Send them home, I dare you. She needs to make sure she is set, then worry about her parents. Oh, yeah, I know, Gunny. I know. But it's hard for, it's hard to do that, worry about yourself first. So, Region of Waterloo Council repeals face covering bylaw as if it had a choice. Um, so this was from CTV. Um, was it a video or is there an article? Let me see. Is there word text? Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, as if they had a freaking choice. The region of Waterloo will lift its mask mandate at the same time the province does. Again, as if it had a choice. On Wednesday, Regional Council voted unanimously, well, I'm surprised, to repeal its face covering bylaw effective March 21st in line with the province. Unanimously, huh? Good for them. Masks will no longer be required in spaces on Monday. Here are the list of places: stores and shopping malls, indoor areas of restaurants and bars, professional services such as counseling and personal care, funeral homes and rental services, lobby areas of commercial buildings, enclosed common areas of multi-residential buildings, hotels and motels, laundromats, indoor areas of fitness centers, gyms and recreational centers or sports facilities, indoor concert venues, theaters and cinemas, arcades and other indoor amusement facilities, museums, galleries, historical sites, etc., places of worship, municipal buildings, inside taxis, but not buses. Oh, inside taxis, limousines, and other ride sharing vehicles. Does a ride sharing vehicle count? Does a bus count as a ride sharing vehicle? Uh, I'm I'm confused. Does a like seriously? Does the bus count as a ride sharing vehicle? All right, here are our two sciency thingies. Let's share this. Oh my goodness, my throat. All right, let's get back to that share button. So, apparently, there was an asteroid impact on Monday, I think the article said. Where are we here? This is from Ars Technica. Where's the headline? Here it is. Asteroid the size of a grand piano strikes Earth, and we knew exactly where and when, says NASA. So, this is, it was called Asteroid 2022 E5? Oh, B5. And here's the image of it. So some said it was the size of a stepladder. Others said it was more like half of the size of a giraffe. Either way, on March 11th, 2022, at 11, or sorry, at 10, March 11th, 2022, at 9:22 UTC, a tiny asteroid struck the ocean. Where did it strike? It struck the ocean 300 miles or 470 kilometers off of Norway's Jambian Island. The 6.5 foot slash 2 meter or 2 meter wide asteroid, about the size of a grand piano, unofficially called 2022 B5, slipped through the surveillance net? No, says NASA, who claims its discovery nearly 2 hours before it struck the Arctic Ocean marks the fifth time before that any asteroid has been marked before entering Earth's atmosphere. Interesting. Asteroid 2022 B5 was observed 14 times in 40 minutes by a Kesar someone. I have no idea how to pronounce that name. In northern Hungary and reported today. Or who in northern Hungary who reported it to the Minor Planet Center. NASA's Scout Impact Hazardous Assessment System then calculated its trajectory, revealing it was then destined to strike the atmosphere. It then alerted both the Center for Near Earth Object Studies and NASA's Planetary Defense Coordination Office. So that's cool that we have all this. Like, this is why I wish that I could see or look through a telescope. Because if only an asteroid would plow Trudeau, Putin, or Biden. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, we need like a Q continuum type weather event. That's what we need. A very localized weather event to take out the leaders of the Trudeau and Putin and Biden. Yeah, that's what we need. Okay, where's that other science article? There it is. Hello.
Hello, Honk.
Can I have more water, please?
You sound like you need to go to bed.
I do. I have one more story. Okay. Here we go.
In this way.
Ow! Thank you.
Don't spill it on your keyboard.
Oh my goodness. Why does this cup smell like lemon pledge? Are you trying to kill me?
No, I literally just washed my hands with more Gojo.
And
then you asked me for a glass of water.
I was actually just about to go, I was literally about to go, actually, no, not lemon pledge, Gojo.
I like my citrus clean. Hurry up and finish your show. You have bedtime.
Blind needs to look in Discord, but look at your own risk. Maybe I'll do another Gunfox News Day on Friday before Beat the Blind Girl. Okay. Let's finish this up. Okay. So this is really cool because, again, super duper nerdy space nerd. If I was like, people always ask me, if you got your sight for one day, what would you do? I would just be looking at it like I'd be at an observatory. I'd be like, can you point the telescope over here? I want to look over here. What's that over there? NASA releases first image from an in-focus Webb telescope. Distant galaxies come into focus as Webb is on track to meet or exceed expectations. That is awesome. Oh, come on. There we go. Today, NASA announced that it has successfully completed 2 further steps to align the mirrors of the Webb telescope. The result means that Webb will either meet, or the resulting performance indicates that Webb will meet or exceed its design goals, which will be awesome. It will be absolutely awesome to see what James Webb telescope can. So far, we are finding the performance is as good as or better than our most optimistic projections. Awesome. The announcement was accompanied by a spectacular image that showed a sharp focus on a target star and included many in-focus galaxies in the backdrop. Awesome. The Webb telescope's primary mirror is made up of an array of 18 individual segments that, once properly aligned, will act as one single mirror. Oh, wow. So it's 18 individual mirrors that they have to align to align it. So, and then they had to basically take all the images from each piece and get them all in sync. That's crazy. So this was completed back in February. At this point, the light was all gathered in one place, but it wasn't necessarily taking an equal path from each segment, meaning that the segments were not acting as a single mirror. Marshall Perrin, the Webb Optical Telescope Element Manager, said the individual segments were microns away from being aligned. The final alignment would take the segment's precision to on the nanometer scale. Oh shit. And we apparently have it. We have now achieved what is called the diffraction limited alignment of the telescope, parents said. The images are focused together as finely as the laws of physics can allow. This is so cool. That is really cool. This is as sharp an image as you can get from a telescope this large. Wow. Just just think about where we've come from. Like the telescopes that we've been using. Like imagine what we're going to be able to see with this. This is awesome. At no point in that process did we have any technical issues with the telescope. The biggest surprise is how just how closely it matched the models. Parents said, honestly, at times the team was giddy looking at this data. No shit. I bet. Like, multi-billion-dollar telescope launches without a hitch, gets where it's going with needs to go without a hitch, gets into line, gets into orbit. Now they've got all the mirror pieces acting as one. Like if I was working on that, I'm almost giddy reading about this. If I was on that team, people would probably think I was a cokehead. Like I would just be like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" Like I would be over the moon pretty much constantly, and I would probably be alternating between over the moon and on the edge of suicide because I'd be like, "Oh my god, what if this goes wrong?" Ah! Oh, let's see. At this point, the mirror is aligned to the telescope's primary instrument, the mirror infrared camera. The telescope, however, has three additional instruments, and the next three steps will see the the next sorry, and the next the next few steps will see the aligning of each of these instruments so that the mirrors will perform well with all of the hardware. Okay. Um, oh, the near infrared camera. Um, let's see. In addition to NASA's ability to tweak the position and shape of the curvature of the second segments, the secondary mirror and the instruments themselves can be shifted to show a new alignment. Final tweaking may take place after this process is complete, but after that, nothing will be left other than the ongoing calibration to keep everything aligned. According to NASA, the aligning was be expected to be completed by May at the earliest. Cool. From there, the science can begin, Jane Rigby of Web Operations said. But a full year of science operations has already been planned out. Cool. They've already got stuff planned out. Awesome. Everyone involved with Web will admit that there are a few priority science targets that are expected to produce a few aesthetically beautiful images have been chosen, but nobody will say what those are yet. For now, everyone is focused on the galaxies that have come into view behind a star being used for alignment, and researchers are hugely relieved the process is going well. As Perrin put it, if there were days on this project where if things didn't work, we would have gone home and said, yeah. Tom Zurbuchen, the administrator of the NASA's science mission director, said all the worries I've had are all behind us now. That has to feel so amazing because this was a huge, huge mission. Well, it still is a huge, huge mission. And the amount of work and Oh yeah, it was launched from Indiana. That's right. And the amount of information it's going to give us is just amazing to think about. So it must have been a nerve-wracking process to get it launched and in orbit, and just getting this stuff aligned and everything is like, I can't imagine the highs and lows that have been going on that project. So that was really cool to read about. And now, my friends, I am going to go to bed because I'm tired. But tomorrow night there will be a Beat the Blind Girl, and Friday night I will be back here, and I'll be doing a Beat the Blind Girl. Hopefully, I'll be able to pull 2 streams out of my butt. I don't know, maybe we'll see. And I hope everybody has a great rest of their night. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you on Twitch tomorrow night. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks for watching. Good night, everybody.